Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of How I Did That. Today we're going to be talking about Absence Primed. This is my second take because the first time I said the wrong name and then had to leave early. Um, Here we see I was going to say titular. Here we see the character sitting on their couch. This is already so much worse. Let's start with the sketches that I did. I did some sketches. I was out of town, you could say, for the initial start of the animation, and I throw away most of it except for a few little bits and pieces and the story. So let's have a look at the little concept art sketches. I did these with a mouse and in paint. So, not like stellar. At the top, you can see the light bulb filling up with blood from Evil Dead. Was probably not going to include that in the animation. I didn't want it to be that creepy. There you see on the top right the window with the potted plant with some really scuffed shading. Bottom left, there are some concepts for the house that the animation takes place in. I ended up going with neither of them. Neither the little like extension cord plug, nor the two-story thin house. I mean, the house I went out with was thin, but not two-story. I also got kind of bored, so I was just doodling at points. And one of the things I doodled was the character's head right here, and I liked it so much that I decided to make the character look like this. Originally, the animation was going to take place in like a hallway like this, but yeah, just decided to go outside, touch grass. Suzanne's in the pot, by the way, so everybody say hi to Suzanne. Very kind for showing up in another animation. It's denoised, which is why it looks sort of smudgy. Let's take a look at the original body of the character. I was thinking with this animation, it would be more like a return to form, where I had the like skin characters. But I decided that instead of that, I would make another cute character. Also made up of the like individual body parts, like I did in the Baldur's Gate animations. Let's come across to the body. This is the original body that the character is going to have. The head I made on top and then threw it out in favor of the new body. Yeah, originally they were going to have a belt, but I decided to just go with no belt. Well, also, this little image here, you might recognize it if you're a fan of the channel. This is actually my IRL phone screen. It is a render of my Peach's Castle scene that I did. In a vertical format. This is it. That's my phone lock screen, IRL. That's cute. I like it. Anyway, up here we just have some generic tubes with a emissive principled BSDF. This is a transmissionary tube, low alpha as well, because I feel like transmission sort of always looks weird in Blender. I did this similar thing with this window. The big world light is I've got a plugin that gives me more lights. So this is the direct sun. It is very powerful. The world texture is just a simple sky texture that mixes into the dark world. These background shapes I just tossed in for when the scene goes dark. You have a nice sort of juxtaposition between the red background and the black silhouettes of the neighboring area. So animation for this, I feel like this is probably one of the longest times I've spent actually like animating. Like making the scene took a while, but also animating itself took a while because I was doing the fully frame by frame for almost all of the shots. There's like one shot where I used a smooth head. But yeah, if we look down here, it's all like all the frames. Each body part has, frames. Frames, and more frames. We can actually cut to, I recorded a time lapse of me doing some walking animation. So let's take a look at that.
A drifter in the dark, like a drifter in the dark, seeking out what isn't there, seeking out what isn't there, looking only for a spark.
Fascinating. I think that's how I said in the corn future. Anyway, I didn't show you guys the screenplay, heavy air quotes there. Let's take a look at that. So these are all just like the sort of scenes that I wanted to happen. While I was animating, I didn't include the doll, which I feel like is a pretty important part of the animation. So that was kind of annoying to fix. So I animated like this, and then I just went straight ahead to character walking out. So I had to reanimate the hand, because originally the hand was... Oh, no. No, the shoulders aren't shaded smooth. No! The original hand was sticking out, sort of like the way you flail your arms around to see in the dark. But instead, now it's holding it to their heart. Yeah, let's take a look at... Here we have... the scene. Originally, there was some music. Let's take a listen to that. So, the original intention was that the light world, whatever you want to call it, is really like overwhelming, like overstimulation. That's why the character sort of gets bored with their phone. There's so much going on in their head. Decided to not go with that because it was too much. It was too much. You can see all of the little like audio smoothing. It's nice. Here we have the ambience of the bee and the hero. Yeah, so here we have all the like sounds. You got footsteps turning into grass steps. I don't think there's anything else really that needs to be touched on. It's all pretty standard. If you go back and watch some of my older how I did that's pretty standard. Animation, a bit more involved. I guess as a tip, if you're going to listen to new music that you hadn't listened to before, probably don't do it while working because you'll be too focused listening to the new music. Yeah. The tree assets are reused from the Baldur's Gate animation. This is just like a cool principled volume. And that's pretty much it. I also worked pretty slowly on this because it's really hot down here in Australia. So things are pretty rough. Bye bye.